I think people are leaving America because the American dream is not as dream-filled as they make it sound out to be. There's very little input that you can have politically in America that's meaningful. The ruling political classes on both sides have become completely out of touch. The financial system, even though this is the strongest economy in the world, the lives of day-to-day people in America on a relative basis, they may look pretty, but inside people are empty shells. They're surrounded by all these consumable goods because the inside is dead. So yeah, welcome to the observation deck. Probably one of the best views in my opinion, but I usually just come out here like 5:30 and you can see like little flickers of headlight beams in the mountains every now and then. Before the sun comes up, it's like a really dark silhouette, and I just express gratitude. The inside is dead because our culture has become largely homogenized. Our foods are, unless you're extremely wealthy, are generally subpar. Like, it's just a very empty, commercialized in general. Unless you try very hard not to live this way, the default American life is very hollow. And I think people are leaving that because you're starting to see that in other places around the world, that hollowness that got sold to Americans doesn't exist. I am Michael Street. We are in Bull Cop neighborhood of Cape Town, South Africa. Yeah, so this is the entryway. It's a 1-bedroom. We're in the Bull Cop neighborhood of Cape Town. Hey, please, Afrikaans is not my mother tongue. So yeah, simple situation. We got the bathroom right off the entryway. Bathroom, some storage space, closet space, integrated with a desk right here. The little audio visual work setup. And behind there, we have the bedroom area with the dividing wall, essentially. Coming in, we have the main kitchen, dining, living room area, essentially. Everything you really need, gas stove, dining room table, clearly, couch. And obviously this is the best part of the crib, right here. Yeah, the balcony, the view you get to wake up to every day and just be grateful for. Table Mountain right in front of me, Devil's Peak. I like to come out here and pretty much work out every morning, start the day, catch the sun as it comes up, look out over the city as it comes to life. But yeah. I first came to this part of the world in 2021. I am on a journey to spar Jiu-Jitsu on every continent. And when I started trying to find where in Africa I could train Jiu-Jitsu, the top country that was coming up was South Africa. And amongst South Africa, the top city to train Jiu-Jitsu is Cape Town. I don't know about is still, but for sure at the time it was Cape Town. And I came to Cape Town in 2021 to train Jiu-Jitsu. I would say a big chunk of my life in the US was spent very centered on the United States. It's an extreme point of privilege to have been born in that country, for sure, because with that comes a lot of freedom. You can move around the world however you really want to, which a lot of people don't have that privilege to do. And so, but with that, being able to move around the world on this journey, you recognize that while America grants you a number of privileges, our centeredness on self over there, like around the American ideal, is not super, the American dream is not as dream-filled as they make it sound out to be. And so there are a number of countries with more beautiful scenery, more variety in language, more variety in food and flavors. My desire to leave the US was more in pursuit of a life that was more full of adventure and color than I could have in the US. Not everything in life has to be black and white. You gotta be able to hold two things at once. You gotta be able to love more than one thing. For me, I love the experiences that I can have outside of my home country, mostly because I guess they're still new to me, right? But I do appreciate my friends and family back home. I appreciate the opportunity that being educated and employed in the States has given me. I'm not ever gonna fully turn away that passport or like declare end of my US citizenship, so they'll be taking my taxes for as long as I know at this point. I first thought about South Africa like in the World Cup in 2010 when I was in college, and I think I saw some flybys, aerials of Cape Town, and the thing that struck me was like, I couldn't imagine that they built a city that close to a mountain. Like everywhere, like in the American West, you think about like Denver, the cities are far away from the mountain ranges, or like the mountains play just a background piece. But here, the thing that really blew me away is that, I mean, you could basically walk right from, you can walk right from a bar all the way to the top of Table Mountain if you wanted to, like in one afternoon. Yeah, I mean, a typical day for me, I work remotely as a software engineer. My team is halfway, half the team is in Europe, half the team is in the States. And I typically start my mornings before the sun. I like to have that slow part of the day. Typically start with just a workout, planning for the day, self-reflections, just taking time to watch the city come to life, or wake up and go to a morning yoga class. Either taking a class, whether that's yoga or kettlebell class, or waking up and getting in a workout for myself and just letting the day come really easily. I like watching it wake up from the beginning. I like to see the city come to life, all the cars come in. And then I'll usually head to my co-working space, start working, work from there, and then hang out or take care of side projects when I get home in the evening. My housing is roughly 70% of what I would pay in the States. For sure, I could find options that are even less than that, but my preference is to, you know, spend more and enjoy more than I would in the States. Food-wise, transportation-wise. Transportation, living in the center of the city, it's easier. I walk a lot more. I do spend less on transportation. I don't know the exact number less. And food, for sure, I spend a lot less money on food here. So I would say that coming to South Africa, if I spent $1,000 a month in the States, here in South Africa for the same or a little bit more, I'd be spending $650 a month. Yeah, so for every $100 basket of food I would have bought in the States, I can get that same basket of food more or less for about 45 to 50 US dollars here. And I mean, one of the bigger things is eating out. Like, I think the biggest, it's a massive wine country, and a glass of wine here is gonna be like $5 to $10 a glass. Probably less, like $3 to $10 is like a lot of money for a glass of wine. But yeah, like $3 to $7 US dollars for a glass of wine when you go out to eat. I think the biggest thing that I enjoy here is that there isn't a corporate slop culture in the food scene, in the sense of like, I mean, you have your KFCs, you have McDonald's, so I guess, yeah, that's corporate slop. But what I'm talking about is like, in DC where I'm from, there's all these little fake Chipotles that exist. Chipotle, Sweet Green, Chop, everything is the same idea, but maybe it's a different regional flavor. And it's dozens of them everywhere because it's dozens of office workers around with $25 to spend every day for lunch or whatever. So you just have like this corporate slop culture where they don't even care about the food, they're just throwing stuff in a bowl and feeding it to you. And it's like here, I mean, for better or for worse, there's no working class that would support that kind of infrastructure. So what that means is like the food tends to be more bespoke or more one-off. People will say that, okay, a downside to Cape Town is that you have a bunch of international food here, especially in the CBD. But there may be a bunch of international food, but it's not like corporately owned food other than your KFCs. Yeah, so the rental here, like I said, it's about the same price as back home. It's cheaper actually. Like back in the States, I look for like a one bedroom between like $2,200 to like $2,700 in DC. I pay less than that here. You know, typical would be about $1,800 to $2,000. That's definitely the super high end in Cape Town. like very high end. I think the thing that surprised me most about the people here is just the variety of culture within melanated people in South Africa was the biggest surprise to me. Like back home, I mean, yeah, we have mixed people, but you know, they basically are all black. But yeah, like the distinctions between different tribal affiliations, forced ethnic identification due to apartheid, like a lot of just the stratification of melanin in South Africa was really the most surprising thing. And then within blackness, the tribal differences, the cultural differences within blackness, you know, Zulu people culture versus Cape Town, mostly Xhosa people culture, like versus how do Sotho, Swana, Venda people show up to you in friendships, like how do they relate to you? Yeah, I don't think I was used to that level of variation in the black experience. And I would say no. South Africa is one of the rare countries, one of the rare countries on the continent of Africa. Yeah, I mean, it was colonized, but the colonists wanted to live here, is kind of the difference. Whereas all of the other countries that were colonized throughout Africa, it's as if it was done, I mean, not that they didn't, they extracted the hell out of things from South Africa, but people were not necessarily making settlements, white settlements in West Africa, East Africa, especially not East Africa. So what I'm saying is, you will find a lot more parallels and similarities in daily life in Cape Town than I would in Accra. And because of that, life feels more like it rhymes with American life. It rhymes with European life. But the key differences are the variety of languages you hear on any given day, the encounters with ocean and mountain here that you won't find in any other country so close to each other. So I would say it's not a drastic shift from how I was living, but you're still living in a majority black nation. You're still living in a nation with deep historical roots, with multiple cultures that are, I mean, I guess cultures are vibrant in America, but there's a big homogenization. There's a whole desire in America to become a melting pot, to become one thing. Whereas like, if you think about South Africa, a rainbow nation, you have individual colors. For better or for worse, you have individuation between different cultures. It adds a different perspective to life than sometimes can miss in the States.
Hey Web Nation family, for years we've been sharing stories of diasporans who have relocated from the diaspora and currently living here on the continent of Africa. You guys have been enjoying the episode, saying in the comment section that you want this to be you one day. Why don't we just bring that time to now? We are inviting you to come on a trip with us to South Africa, November 2026. This is going to be an 11-day experience of we visiting cities like Cape Town, Johannesburg. We having experiences like going to the wine lands and actually experiencing South Africa, the people, the food. This is not just a vacation. This is a very well detailed experience that gives you the proper insight on people interested in relocating. The beautiful part about this is we've made it easy for you to come on this trip with us. By you just making the deposit, you get to pay the rest in installment and get yourself on a trip with us to South Africa. Scan the QR code, secure your spot, and see you in South Africa. Now guys, let's get back into the video.
I'm always working to become a different person over time. Of course, the people you meet and interact with in a city, as you build stronger relationships change you. Getting to know certain people changes you. They introduce you to new things, that changes you. The thing about living in South Africa at the moment that has changed me the most is just your perspective on being a global citizen, really. How do you contribute to a community when you're in it? How do you become a local instead of a visitor? Those things change me, you know. Learning the language changes you, changes how you can think, changes how you can express yourself. So if I would attribute anything to Cape Town, it would be language learning, and the friends and relationships I've made and created while I'm here. I wouldn't say South Africa alone, But just in general, like as you pick up a more global perspective and move about the world, my perspective and capacity to move amongst different cultures has evolved and changed. And because of that, that's allowed me to document and participate in experiences that other people have not. And whenever you gain some niche level of knowledge about a thing, there's some way to share that experience with somebody. And ideally, there's a monetary exchange. Like, there's ideas that are working. I wouldn't attribute those purely to South Africa though. But yeah, I think just in general, as you move out of the country, open up your horizons, you'll find, if you're interested in hustling, if you're interested in that kind of thing, like, then you'll find it. I mean, for me, my job is super stable and chill. If it wasn't for my friends, I really wouldn't be hustling like that. You know? Yeah, I mean, anywhere you go where the dollar is going to be stronger than the home currency, you're going to feel some pressure relieved on your finances. But yeah, overall, I mean, financial freedom really hasn't been born from being here. It's more just habits you build prior to you do any actual decisions that allow you to live more freely wherever you are. Like, yeah, to be free takes discipline. I'm in a country where my home currency is stronger than the local currency. Okay, that helps. But just because you live somewhere cheaper doesn't always mean you're more free. I found friends through friends. I had a friend network, and back home, I asked them, do they know people? One of my best friends, she connected me with two people that are now, you know, those two relationships have changed my life directly, like knowing both of these people she introduced me to. I think, yeah, it's not hard for me to meet people, honestly. Like, you just have to have interests and hobbies. You have to have things that you do and then go outside and do them. Like, I met a ton of people through yoga here. Some of the best relationships I've had on this trip, I've started through yoga. I started through my friend Jenna had a series called Stay in Touch. I met a number of people through that. It's easier the more that you have things to do, I guess. The one thing I love the most here, especially on this trip, that I haven't had in the US is this view. I mean, the view, yeah, you can't find that anywhere else in the world. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say it's my proximity to Table Mountain is probably the number one thing that I love the most about this journey, this trip. Like, being able to be near it, to walk around it, to just be in the shadow of it. It's all the best parts to me. Yeah, in 5 years, I see myself having a portfolio kind of life where I have a basis back in the States as well, and a permanent place, a home that I own in South Africa. And yeah, I think the specifics of it can evolve and change. But yeah, definitely within the next 5 years, I'll be kind of splitting that time, seeing which probably more and more time here in South Africa. But yeah, in 5 years, I'd like to see myself, some friends living together on the continent. Have a reason. Like, don't just come to South Africa because you've seen somebody else living a good life. Like, just because somebody else's life looks good there doesn't mean your life is going to be good there. Just because things that one person finds culturally relevant are not going to be relevant to you. I would say, like, don't come here just because you saw a video. Like, come here, not even, don't come to South Africa because you saw a video. You should, you know, have a reason for going wherever you want to go. That's going to make it easier. Like, if you don't have a reason, if you don't have something, just stay home. Because if you come here without a reason, you're going to come here, you're going to have no friends, no family, nothing going for you. You think because I'm living in my one-bedroom apartment in whatever city that, oh, I can move somewhere else and it'd be better. Like, nah, life's not going to be better for you if you just think that's the one switch. Have a reason. Yeah, understand how you can be beneficial rather than extractive. if I could speak to my past self, I would say, don't be concerned about the small things that you're worried about. That you should for sure stick with your decision to go and do it, and you should for sure dive all the way in. Why do I think people are leaving America? I think people are leaving America because there's very little input that you can have politically in America that's meaningful. The ruling political classes on both sides have become completely out of touch with Americans. They're way too polarized. The financial system, even though this is the strongest economy in the world, the lives of day-to-day people in America on a relative basis, yeah, I mean, sure, Americans consume way too much, absolutely, but the lives of day-to-day Americans are definitely, they may look pretty, but inside people are empty shells and dead. Like, they're surrounded by all these consumable goods because the inside is dead. And the inside is dead because our culture has become largely homogenized. Our foods are, unless you're extremely wealthy, are generally subpar. The lifestyles are, walking is not a regular thing to do in America. Like, it's just a very empty, commercialized, in general, unless you try very hard not to live this way. The default American life is very hollow. And I think people are leaving that because you're starting to see that in other places around the world, that hollowness that got sold to Americans doesn't exist. No, I don't think we're in the end times. I think every generation lives through some moments of time that feels like, oh, this is going to be the end. But the thing is, this world just keeps spinning. Human ingenuity keeps going. One thing that I love being so close to Table Mountain is that always reminds me that even if humans aren't here, it's not the end times, period. Like, this world is going to keep spinning. The clouds are going to keep forming on that mountaintop, keep coming down. But do I think this society is near its end times? I mean, I hope not. I don't think that. I think maybe the American empire is failing. I mean, it's definitely in the last innings. Things last about 250 years. I mean, we'll see what. I don't believe there's the end times. I believe things always change. I believe we're in the midst of a major turning point. I think we're in the midst of major change globally, but that doesn't mean the globe is going to stop. It will just be transformed to something that those that are alive today have not seen before, most likely, but it will not end. So I wouldn't say we're in the end times. I think we're in a shifting time.